I have 2 ripe bananas and it's time to make banana nut bread. I'm going to show you this easy way I like to make a loaf of banana nut bread. It's so easy and delicious. I'm starting off with 2 ripe bananas, a boxed spice cake mix. It's a 15.25 ounce box. Here I'm also going to be using 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 large egg, and this is a 5.3 ounce container of plain Greek yogurt. And I'm also going to add some crushed pecans. I only have a little bit left, so I'm going to garnish. Here I have a 9x5 loaf baking dish lined with parchment paper, and now it's time to mix this. So I'm going to add both of my ripe bananas. I would say these bananas are large, 2 large bananas, and I'm just going to peel them, place them in the bowl. Now I'm going to mash them really well. So you could consider this a very easy 5-ingredient banana bread without the nuts and the extra garnishes. So after this is mashed, I'm going to go ahead and start adding my other ingredients, the vanilla, the egg. I'm also going to add that small container of Greek yogurt, and I'm just going to scrape that in there. And on a side note, you'll want to make sure you're using plain yogurt. If you use something that's sweetened, it'll just make this a little too sweet, in my opinion. The bananas are sweet because they're very ripe. The cake mix already comes sweetened, so you want to opt for plain yogurt. I'm just going to give these ingredients a really good mix and just kind of cream them together. And you could call this a 5-ingredient banana bread loaf or a cheater banana bread loaf because you're using boxed cake mix. It's just quick and easy if you just like to use the boxed cake mix with this recipe. Now you could easily measure out flour and baking soda, baking powder, and salt and sugar and ground cinnamon, but again, this is just what makes it kind of easy. You just kind of dump everything in a bowl and mix. And while you're mixing this, you're going to think, oh, it doesn't have enough liquid, or it's kind of on the drier side or the gloopy side. That's okay. That's exactly what you want, just like this. It's very sticky and stiff. It's not a cake. You kind of want it dense like a loaf. So now into my baking dish, my loaf baking dish, I'm going to scrape the batter into it. And with the parchment paper, I just quickly put the parchment paper under cold water, scrunched it up, and then it makes it a lot easier to sort of just put it into your loaf baking dish. Okay, now I'm going to add these pecans that I've kind of crushed up. If I had to guess, maybe like a 1/3 cup. If you have a 1/2 cup of pecans, you can mix it into the batter. I'm just going to garnish because I didn't have a lot left. And another little garnish or thing that I like to add is flaky salt on top. It just, I don't know, elevates the flavor of your banana nut loaf. So just a little pinch on top. And you'll want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to bake this for around 55 minutes or until it's cooked through in the center. Okay, so it's time to remove this from the oven. And of course, with all things that take time and patience, the hardest part is when you remove it from the oven, you're going to have to let it cool and give it some time before slicing into it. But my kitchen smells amazing, and I love the toasty pecans on top. So it's kind of cool where I can sort of peel off some of the parchment paper, but I'm going to kind of let it hang out a little bit longer before I slice into it because it's very hot. But oh, it's so hard to wait because it smells so good. But it looks fantastic. And like I said, this is just something easy I do. It's kind of like a banana loaf, banana bread hack. So I'm just going to slice into it and I'm just going to press down. And it is very soft, but it is loaf-like. It's less of a cake and more dense. Okay, so I used one hand to cut that, but this is what it looks like. And it still could cool further, but I'm going in. I can't wait, and it's so good. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.